Well, hi, my little Patreons. Thanks for your continued support. You're the best ones. I think the light's good, is it, Jim?
I haven't found you yet, I'm afraid.
What am I doing? Race lever is last. Regita's in the house. Where are we? Here we be. Turn me off for a start. I'm an idiot. Lee Haslam's in the house. Sleepy Pig Farm. Hello, my friend. I was looking on your Instagram. Oh, that little black piglet. Ah, TH101's in the house. Twisted Hippie. KO Carnival, buddy. Julian Walters, my IRL friend. How you doing, brother? Eva, David, Annie Rose, Martin Hopwood, and Homemade Mama. Mama. You're welcome, Sleepy Pig Farm. Oh, I want to come and visit. I saw you're in like an English sounding town, but in America. I was really excited for a second. I thought, oh, I'll go and visit. No. Oh, it was so sad. Curtis White's in the house. Her for me, my little vegan India. Julia A. Pulo Findro. Johnny the Legs from Deepest Darkest Cornwall. Oh, Sleepy Pig Farm would love to have us. Oh, want to go there. Rabbit Food Fitness is in the place to be. Lewis. Baffo Metricon. All the faves, all the gang. Oh, Vaughan's even in here now. Jack Goff.
Looks a bit bright in my opinion. Can I just turn the light down?
Turn it down 50%.
What, which, both ones? Oh,
Just the, yeah, that's better. Nice. Nice job. Right. David, loved your storage video the other day. You always give me a good laugh. Glad to be of service, my friend, and thanks for watching. James Parker's in the house. Robert Food Fitness, love all your videos. Thank you. ADO Head brings up something that we don't need to look at. Lee, what do you make of Vivo Matcha since you've had the issue with caffeine? Well, I don't have it anymore just because I don't want to. I just got such a addictive personality, and I'll have a bit of matcha, and that might be fine, and then I'll have more matcha, and then I'll think I'll get away with that. I'll have a coffee, so I'm steering clear. Although out of all the things, matcha is probably the kindest thing I would have thought, or just general green tea. The good thing about matcha is that you actually eat in the leaves, aren't you? You're swallowing the leaves, which you get like 10 times the antioxidants or something ridiculous. Dr. Greger puts it like to brew a tea bag and then throw the tea bag in the bin is a bit like steaming your broccoli or boiling your broccoli and then throwing the broccoli out and just drinking the water, you know. It makes sense. David O, hi Hanchy, what benefits have you reaped from using CBD? For me, it's been in terms of anti-anxiety. So like my public speaking really went up to the next level. It was marked improvement. It was massive. And it wasn't placebo because what happened, basically as an influencer, you sometimes just get sent stuff. And I guess people hope if you like it, you might do a favourable post or whatever. I got given it and I sort of forgot about it. I didn't know, I hadn't heard of it. I didn't know what it was. And then I just came across it one day and I thought, oh, I'll just like give it a try. I didn't really know what it was for, to be honest. I thought it was meant to be anti-inflammatory. So I thought, you know, exercise recovery and that sort of thing. And I was doing a talk in Scotland, V in the Park, and just, I was having fun on stage. I'd gone from thinking, oh, is it time to go yet? I want to get off the stage. I was up there having fun and I didn't want it to end, and that was the only difference was that. And it wasn't until after that that I looked it up to see, oh, what, you know, could it have been that? And also it's good in terms of like relaxation and sleep because I'm very driven. So it's hard for me to wind down if not, but I have that like 4 hours before bed and then I can start to calm down chill out with the little lady, and like I say, have a good night's sleep. Other people love it for pain mitigation, exercise recovery. It's good against things like Parkinson's, certain diseases that the National Health Service here in the UK is actually prescribing it for. So there's a lot of science now to back it up. Great stuff. If anyone wants CBD, I am an ambassador with Honest Hemp. Link in the description. 30% off your first order, which is bonkers, and 15% off all subsequent orders, which is still bonkers. The last company I was with, they gave me like a bigger commission. I got like half the commission rate with these guys, but because they pass over so many savings to my supporters, there's a lot more sales. So it's worked out better for me and better for you guys as well. So I'm really pleased with them. I've actually got a delivery today. It's their new topicals.
Don't show our address on there.
Don't show our address on there. It's the new topical range. Not opened it yet. I don't think we'll open it on air because it's probably not everyone's interested in that, are they? We'll do it. We'll do an Instagram story after this. So if you follow me on Instagram, Hench_Herbivore, you can check that out if you want to see it. Yeah. How do you guys enjoy CBD or not? Right. Where are we? I'm miles behind, am I? House Vibes is in the house, just home, Beverly Welling. Julia A. Oh, she's also in Cornwall. I love Cornwall. It's such a lovely part of the UK. Went there as a lad. Laura Lulu Watts is in the house with a new wrench. Andre, why do you hate on raw butter? I've never hated on raw butter specifically, but the reason I would hate on it is because it gives you heart disease, the #1 killer of human beings. And it comes from the teats of animals. It's weird if you think about it. You wouldn't suck an animal's boobs, and neither would your cat. And also there's like 1 million units or so of advanced glycation end products per 1 gram. Advanced glycation end products are gerontotoxins, which accelerate the aging process through every tissue of the body. Dementia, macular degeneration, atherosclerosis, sarcopenia, the list goes on. And that's before you even heat it. Just to give context, so 1 gram of unheated butter gives about 1 million AGEs. 1 gram of boiled carrots gives about 100 AGEs. So it's just ridiculously high-end advanced glycation end products. JH101, is Norfolk Woods your neck of the woods? Booked holiday there. I've not heard of Norfolk Woods, but we are in Norfolk, Norwich, to be specific. So, yeah, we are that way. Have you heard of Norfolk Woods?
No.
Should probably check that out. Julia A said hello to you. Bohemian Bees waving to all of us. Lee Haslam's in the house. Would you? How long have you been shaving your head? Oh, I don't know. A lot of years now. A lot of it. Previously, I had like really long hair. You know, like down to past my shoulders. I must have been shaving it for a good few years though. 15. I'm going to say 15 years. Probably more than that though, is it? When did I start working? Probably 25 years actually. Probably 25 years. Long time. Hey Dan Bifano, how you doing my friend? Good Eep F's in the house. Garand Shant. Hello, my friend. Julian Harris, eat the G-bombs. Aggers, do you play Call of Duty? I don't play any games. I gave up consoles and TV 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago to concentrate on the YouTubes. Since then, I've made over 1,000 videos. I had like nearly 4 million views to date. I wouldn't have done that if I was playing Xbox and whatnot. Graham Shand, your recommendation for a nutrition course. The only one I've heard that's any good is the eCornell online certification. Nutritionist certification. That's meant to be really good. Most of them are horrible, from what I've seen. Race lever makes me smile. Snake Diet Trish. Hi to you. Thanks for joining. I've not even thumbs up my own video yet, my own stream. Curtis White, I got to say, is the best CBD oil I've tried. What, the Honest Hemp one? Rack Fitness is in North Carolina. Nice. Where, who's there? Howard Jacobson of the Plant Yourself podcast. He co-authored Hull with Dr. Campbell, you know, the sequel to the China study. And he co-authored, who's that guy? Proteinaholic, Garth Davis. He co-authored that book. Some kind soul has just donated €5. Tiki Mikla, my favourite name. I should have known. See Frank's newest video where he calls out everyone attacking him. Yeah, I did watch that. I was a bit upset that I wasn't in it. I've been doing loads of attacking lately. And I want to know where is my funding. I've not had any funding from any special interest groups or whatever he's on about. So that's a bit annoying. Either he's full of it or I'm being missed out. Cat the Vegan Artist is in the house. Hi, lovely. Hussein says, Hench Herbivore, who do you think would win a fight, you or Vegan Gains? Whoever got the most violent the quickest would win. Dog Meat Jesus is in the house. Miguel Magana, hey, Hench, I smoke a lot of weed with my vegan foods. Would just like some insight. What do you mean?
Someone asked earlier what you think of THC. I'm not sure if it's the same person. I think they want to know, like, what do you think of smoking weed?
Yeah, I mean, there are health negatives. There's about 30 carcinogenic compounds that come from smoking that. I've not really looked into it. I don't know a whole lot. If you look on nutritionfacts.org, Dr. Gregor and his team of research scientists, they've looked at all the science. So they've done a series of videos. I think there was some detriment. I think it's meant to hurt your bone density, apparently, is another thing I heard. If you were gonna have it, I would say maybe like edibles. Obviously, then you're not getting the smoke. Like that would cut down on the health risk. I don't know a whole lot though, so I don't want to sit here and pretend to be some sort of an expert. But Dr. Gregor has done tons of videos on nutritionfacts.org, so there'll be a whole playlist of them. And I suppose, like, by eating if you're eating whole plant foods rather than like Oreos and, you know, donuts and stuff, if you're talking about vegan foods, obviously, like, the healthful compounds in there can offset some of the damage. So, but, you know, probably better not to. But I don't know. I'm no expert. Domini Robert, is keto vegan diet possible? If yes, how? Since vegan high carb and keto rates to high fat, it is possible. It's not healthy though. The longest lived people on record, the Okinawan's in the 1940s, they ate 85% of their diet as carbohydrates, specifically purple sweet potatoes and brown rice mostly, plus some veggies and some fruit. Apparently, about once a month, they would eat like a small amount of something like pork or fish at a like a celebration or something. But that's like rare. It was like war years, so you know, things were harder then. And now, like they've got like KFC and McDonald's and whatever, and all the same diseases as the rest of us. So that's really sad. But keto, oil, pure fat. I'm going to post a video tomorrow. I've shot it today. Oil is the most unhealthy thing a vegan can eat. So I guess nuts would be kind of high protein, high fat. Some of them will be sort of fairly carb free, I think, or very low anyway. Yeah, so it'd be things like oils and nuts and seeds. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, most people go keto because they want to lose weight. Well, the reason keto works so well initially is because you dump all of your glycogen and the associated water. So 1 gram of blood sugar holds 3 grams of water. So in the first week, you dump all that. So it looks like you've lost half a stone, which you have. You haven't lost half a stone of fat, though. You've lost half a stone of muscle volumization. So actually, your muscles are smaller. And that loss isn't sustained. You're simply, if you're in a caloric deficit, you'll lose body fat. Just the same as if you've eaten a high carb diet in a caloric deficit, you lose fat. No further benefit metabolically. It's just so unhealthy. You know, stick with the higher carb whole plant foods. We want some healthful fats from nut seeds, avocado. But there's better ways. Did I answer Tiki Mickler's thing even? Soon thanks to his, oh yeah, I did speak to that, didn't I? Yeah, I don't know if he believes half of the nonsense he makes up. But it just sounds like an idiot, doesn't he? But full of himself as well. TH101, Norfolk Woods is a Ho Seasons type complex near Kings Lynn. Oh, interesting. We went to Centre Parks in Elvedon. Is that just in Suffolk, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was amazing. Muntjac deer, like squirrels, just loads of animals coming right up to your cabin. Lovely woodland, big old lake. Oh, that was delightful, wasn't it? There's a video. We went there with Family Freedom, if you know that YouTube channel. They're lovely guys. We went with them. On the cover is me doing archery. I channeled my inner Viking. I found out that I'm really naturally quite good at archery. And I really do swear that I was probably a Viking in a previous life. Oh, God, well, that's just jumped like crazy. I'll skip forwards a little bit. If I miss your comment or question, do pop it down in the chat. Hi, Icy Kenny 92. Thanks for joining. Joe Hardy. Hi, Paul. Any good brands of running shoes that are vegan? Running shoes. I don't know specifically. There's one brand called Ani. I think there's ANI. I don't know if they make. No, they make trainers. I'm guessing they probably do a running shoe.
Will's vegan shoes.
And other than that, yeah, if you just go to Will's Vegan Shoes, so I got a pair of boots from him. They're the best boots I've ever owned. They're amazing. So if his trainers are of any sort of similar quality like that, they're going to be the bomb too. So he's based in London. Applejar. Hello, Mr. Hench. What's your thoughts on eating pasta? Just regular dry pasta. I love making pasta so much and just eat a fair bit of vegan pasta. Bad idea. Love from Australia. It's not the best idea. If it's whole grain, then it's all right. It's going to have all the B vitamins and other nutrients which you lose. Basically, when they process a whole grain, they get rid of the germ and the bran. You're left with the endosperm. Well, most of the nutrition is in the germ and the bran that they throw away. So you're just left with mostly just energy, really. Oh yeah, Fiona Oakes has got Will's Vegan Shoes. You should go with them. The trouble being, so you got the whole grain. So you want the whole grain rather than the refined grain. But then with the whole grain, if we break that down into fine powder, into flour, then more of that gets absorbed through the wall of the small intestine into our bloodstream. And therefore, there's not so much left to feed the Prevotella, the good strains of bacteria that live way back in the colon, as we're hindgut fermenters. And the action of the Prevotella strains on this fibre and resistant starch, which we've lost some of, it creates these short-chain fatty acids that are the linchpin of good health. They're the substrate to make 95% of our neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. They modulate they're just amazing. Basically, the more short chain fatty acids you've got in your body, the healthier you're going to be, and so you're just robbing, you're robbing these good bacteria. You'll never, as much as you chew like an intact whole grain, you'll never break it down into like a fine little powder like it does with flour. So best avoided.
Sorry.
Healthier to eat the whole intact grain. But, if you're eating the vast majority of your foods as whole intact plant foods, then a little bit of breads, pasta, a little bit of hummus or other bean dips, that's not going to be too bad in the context of a diet that's filled with fibre, And for me as a bodybuilder, it's sometimes helpful for me to eat a bit of this stuff. When I'm on like 6,000 calories, I'm not going to eat that as whole intact plant foods because it's too much for my system, I do get a good 150, 160 grams of fibre at the best of times. So,
Someone said something like, Frank could steal your wife, mate.
Could he? Apparently not. You heard it from the horse's mouth.
Oh dear. I've seen all the gross bodies he puts in his mouth. I wouldn't go anywhere near that.
Graving babies. My mum. Oh, welcome to the stream, by the way. My mum is in her 60s and still smoking weed. She's no G hippie, smoking pot till she drops. Wow, as long as she's having fun, I don't blame her. The old Sergei Meerkat's in the house. And Uncle Ben. You look like my friend. What was his name from the Mel cleaner? Hamilton. He's a lovely man. You're the spitting image of him. James Parker. Most of my family are either vegan or on the way to being vegan. Oh, nice. Ray Stevens into his sweet potatoes. They rock. Zeke's in the house. Vegan realist. Laura Lulu. I'm going to order some CBD oil tomorrow as it might help my mental health. It should do. It should do. I think it is contraindicated if you're on certain medications. So you may need to just check that out or speak to your doctor if indeed you are having medications for that. James Parker. Yeah. I'm just looking for comments and questions aimed at me, really. Room 101. What foods do you recommend for a person with hypothyroidism that had breast cancer? Oh, bless you. For a person with hypothyroidism. So you want to make sure you're getting enough iodine. Like that's the substrate which we build our thyroid hormones, T3 and T4 from. So you need to be getting in like 1.5 to, I don't know, maybe 4.5 sheets of nori. Make sure you've got a good amount of iodine. Or you can have 1/2 to 1.5 teaspoons of dulse or arame flakes. 1 1/8 teaspoon of wakame is the minimum dose, 150 micrograms. So you could have up to 3 of those, and that would be, still well within the safe upper limit. The safe upper limit is 1,100 micrograms. But a lot of people oftentimes they just go for the minimum RDA, and I think like for me, like I'm a larger person, like I probably need more of it. So I've actually gone up to sort of 2 or 3 times the RDA now. I typically put 1.5 teaspoons of dulse into my smoothies. Kelp, 1 to 3/16 of a teaspoon would be your dose. Be careful with kelp because you can easily OD on that, and that wouldn't end anywhere nice. They're the main ones. I would avoid hijiki because that's high in arsenic.
Selenium's really important, so maybe have a Brazil nut.
Oh yeah, other foods. Yeah, as Gemma said, selenium. So you need like
one Brazil nut.
you may need a Brazil nut. Again, like you might want to optimize your selenium, but it's very easy to OD on selenium if you're eating Brazils. If you ate nothing but Brazils for selenium, and of course other foods have selenium in them, if you ate nothing but Brazil nuts, 4 would be the most you'd want to eat in a day. But of course, if you eat lots of other things, you want to be careful. So usually maybe 1 or 2 Brazil nuts is probably like safer for most people.
I believe when you have hypothyroidism, iron can be an issue sometimes.
Iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd be looking at like your leafy greens, stuff like that.
Yeah, and what else?
So we're going to say for thyroid function, the top 3 foods: leafy greens, Brazil nuts, and seaweed, or an iodine supplement if you can't stomach the thought
and
of that.
don't eat calcium-rich foods around the time you take your medication.
Oh, is that a thing?
I remember that being.
Tell us about that, Gemma, the voice from
I
beyond.
can't really remember any more than that. It's just there was 1 or 2 things you're not supposed to have around the same time.
Right.
So make sure you have your medication like half an hour away from before your food or whatever. That's what I
Have your medication half an hour before your food, because calcium can be an issue. And then what about that T3 circadian method? Do you advocate that still, or?
Don't know. So maybe don't bother.
There is a book called the T3 circadian method, which may be of interest to you. If indeed you take T3, you may just be on T4.
And if you've got you might get sluggish adrenals with thyroid problems. So try
licorice root, stuff like that.
Take licorice root for your adrenals, and don't have caffeine is my advice. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Right, I'm just going to skip forwards. If I missed your comment or question, do pop it back in the chat. Daniel, do you think eating seaweed snacks every day is enough to get the iodine you need? How much iodine is in them is the question. So you need at least 150 micrograms per day. What I will say about eating seaweed snacks, probably they've been fried. When we fry starches, create some acrylamides, which are a probable carcinogen. You're certainly creating a lot of oxygen-free radicals. And oils are just so unhealthy for the body. Like I say, I am dropping a video on that tomorrow. So I would prefer to, if you're going to eat like seaweed, I would say like nori sheets. You can use the wraps to make like sushi. Or I actually soak my nori sheets in an in a tamari water solution, just to soften them. And then I just sort of eat them like that, sort of with breakfast, so I don't forget to take them. FS, I eat 1 Brazil nut a day. My selenium was slightly over the range last week. Wow, that's amazing.
If I eat Brazil nut with everything else I'm having, it makes my selenium like 200 and something % for the day.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? Just,
yeah.
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 One of those,
lovely stuff. Julia Harris, how close do you think spherage is to eating a person? It's just having the opportunity to do it, I would imagine. He's a funny boy. Don't know if you saw my stabbing update video. That's looking quite damning for him. And someone's come forward and said that they know the girl who he stabbed in the arm. I'm considering trying to contact her and maybe doing an interview or something, but I'm not sure. Tristan Tippy brings up a good point. Coffee with its tannins, or tea as well. Oh, and milk affects iron absorption. Yeah, dairy affects iron absorption, doesn't it, in general? Yeah, that's right. Which is why a lot of vegetarians come to me with that issue. You know, they're going vegan, but they are struggling with iron, and that's very common. Gurdeep, what's your opinion on blackstrap molasses as a good source of iron? Yeah, I mean, it's devoid of fibre, so it's not really very healthy from that perspective. And, you know, it's like a sugar, but it has got, it's very mineral dense. So I would say, ideally, I would say eat the range of whole plant foods. If you're eating enough calories and the range, you should be smashing all your nutrients anyway. For a smaller person, perhaps on a diet, and like maybe their stomach's like really shrunk and they're struggling, I'd say like just the judicious use of a little blackstrap molasses, you know, is probably better than you know, not getting enough minerals. Joe Blow, hey brother, you're awesome. You're awesome for saying it. Oh, that's jumped. Raven Babies says, take your thyroid medicine with a glass of water on an empty stomach. Good advice. Room 101. I don't know what that is. Jake, I went vegan 3 months for 3 months, supplemented everything needed. Vitamin panel was perfect. Calories 3.4k. Kept getting a weird pressure in my head and felt kind of out of it. No idea why. Yeah. I was having issues lately, and it is after years of being whole foods vegan. So I was getting like sort of pressure, and I started to get migraine attack, like the wiggly lines, every other day or sometimes every day. It was quite frightening. Then I stopped having any caffeine, and it just stopped it dead. And it was just I'd become intolerant to caffeine, basically. But yeah, as long as you're getting all your nutrients, I don't really know why that would be. Yeah, don't know. Probably some mitigating circumstances though, rather than the diet per se. I would expect. Jan, hey Paul, greetings from Slovenia, a European country that looks like a chicken. Would you mind giving your opinion on cornflakes? I don't really know too much about cornflakes. I know that they are often covered with lanolin, which fortifies them with vitamin D and stops them going soggy so quickly, so they're crunchier, more enjoyable. The only thing is, lanolin is a sebaceous excretion that comes from, it's like sheep's sort of sweat, basically, that covers their wool, which is why they're sort of waterproof. So you're eating like sheep sweat. It's weird if you think about it. There are vegan cornflakes, but by and large, if they're not designated as vegan, they've probably got lanolin on them. I'm going to guess that they're just the endosperm. I'm going to guess like they're too refined, like they're not a whole grain. Because they just look so plain, don't they? I'm going to guess they act like a refined grain in the body, so they're not good for blood sugar. They're going to be devoid of nutrients. They'll be fortified with synthetic nutrients, which probably, if anything, do more harm than good, according to the science. And one other thing I was going to say, but it slipped my mind. Yeah, but like so. Oh yeah, and they're toasted as well. When you superheat, like dry heat cooking methods, when you superheat starches in the presence of the amino acid arginine, which will be in it because it's from a whole plant food, you create acrylamides, which are probably carcinogenic. They're a class 2A carcinogen, the same as red meat. So not great, not great. Stick to whole cereals, like, oats and stuff like that. Tef makes a great porridge. If you're going to eat like oats, really you should be eating oat groats. Not oats, wheat. Sorry, wheat groats, I was trying to say. Kratom, have you watched Bobby's Perspective channel? Oh, once or twice. I can't stand him. He's another that is against the vegan diet, so I can't stand him. Yeah, same. He's like a moron, isn't he? For someone who reckons he's really like awakened and he's used like plant medicines, he's so bloody toxic. Horrible. This keeps jumping.
Someone said a little while ago they were asking about they tried to be vegan but they had like a lot of gas, bloating, etc. So I just wondered if you wanted to speak of that. I think it was a serious
What question. Is it? Gas and bloating and whatnot?
Yeah, I just thought you might like to speak of.
Yeah, so when you first go vegan, if you're eating like a junky diet and like animal products and not a lot of whole plant foods, which most people don't, you're going to be Bacteroides bacteria dominant. So these bacteria can't process fibre. They eat everything but soluble fibre and resistant starch, which comes from insoluble fibre. And these are pathogenic bacteria. The good guys, the Prevotella strains, they eat the soluble fibre and resistant starch from insoluble fibre. So the good strains are whole foods vegans. So if you start like a healthy vegan diet with lots of fibre, but your Bacteroides dominant, what's going to happen? Like imagine you throw a load of plant foods into the zoo and it's just full of carnivores. It's all gonna go rotten and ferment, cause a load of gas and stink. And so basically inside your body you're gonna have dysbiosis, so bloating, discomfort. Changes in gut motility can be constipation, can be diarrhea, can be constipation with diarrhea. It can be a nightmare at first, but pretty soon, as you preferentially feed the good guys with whole plant foods, i.e. fibre-rich foods, over the weeks, the Bacteroides strains die off because they're not getting anything to eat. The Prevotella strains prosper. And at a certain point, there'll be so many more Prevotella strains of Bacteroides. They create these short-chain fatty acids that I talk about. Bacteroides doesn't like an acid environment, so you basically kill those off. So pretty much you're either Bacteroides or Prevotella dominant. While you're Bacteroides dominant, you will get issues initially. So for that reason, I actually say to people, you're probably better off. So you've got your whole plant foods, you've got your animal products and processed plant food junk. And I'd sort of say week by week by week by week, put in a little more of the whole plant foods, take out a little more of the unhealthy foods so that your gut microbiome has time to shift over and adapt. A lot of people say, oh, these healthy foods don't suit my body don't like it. It's not your body, it's the bacteria that you've invited to live in the colon, predicated on the foods that you've been eating historically. That was a lot of fancy words, wasn't it? Give myself a pat on the back for that one.
Oh, I'll give you one as well.
Ah, lovely. Was that it? Was that what we were talking
The
about?
question was quite a while ago, but you didn't get to it, so I thought. I think that's kind of what they were saying.
I'm going to skip forwards. If I missed your comment or question, do pop it back in the chat. Jorge's in the house. Asad is in the house. Oh, V-Guard, my old friend. Oh, let's jumped. Oh, some kind soul just donated 5 Great British pounds. Lee Haslam on the super chat. What do you make of Meatard friend going keto to mask the symptoms of gestational diabetes in fear of having to be induced into labour? They will be raising their gestational diabetes. They'll be making it worse. I mean, they might not have the symptoms because they're not putting in carbohydrate, but they will be causing more intramyocellular lipids, i.e. Fats inside muscle cells, blocking insulin signalling. So they're doing the exact opposite thing that they should be doing. They should be dropping their fats right down. Cut out all animal fat, cut out all oils. You know, you need some healthful overt fats, you know, from nuts, seeds, avocado. You know, we need the omega-3 and 6. But we don't need tons of it. And they're possibly giving themselves like type 2 diabetes. They'll possibly still have diabetes once the child's born. So that's very silly. And thank you for their support. What avatar is that? Groot?
Yeah, it looks a bit like
Is it Groot? I am Groot.
Wondered if you wanted to answer this question.
Thanks for the support. G.J. Hessels, about a month vegan now and feeling extraordinarily great. I've been watching a lot of these ex-vegan malnutrition compilation videos. As a naturally skinny dude, often looking to gain muscle, these videos do scare me. Okay, what are your thoughts on those kind of videos and what do you do to avoid going there yourself? I did a response video to 1 or 2 of these videos. Specifically, I remember responding to the one about Prem. I don't know if you know Prem. Meat of the Matter is his YouTube channel. He's he accuses vegans of being mentally retarded. And he's in the street shouting, "You're mentally retarded, you're mentally retarded." He sounds mentally retarded when he's doing it. And the funny thing is, he called himself like a raw vegan guru. And he said he used to go around the country like preaching all about it. He didn't even know to take a B12 supplement. He never took a B12 supplement for months and months and months and months. Well, if you're B12 deficient, you risk death, paralysis, and dementia. So he possibly made himself mental. So all these ex-vegans, they all seem to have in common extremes. I'm not saying that a raw vegan diet can't work, because there are people who claim they're thriving on it. They reckon they've got great blood work to back it up. I tried it. I didn't get on well. And it would be harder to get all the micronutrients that you need. And depending on where you live, like, it's just hard to maintain, really. Maybe if you're in the tropics, it would be a little bit easier. But yeah, but you'll see every single one of them was raw, which is hard to get all your nutrients from. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is harder. What else to say? Some of them had diagnosed issues like Rawvana. She had SIBO, which I got last year. But she had it diagnosed. Instead of treating it, she started eating animal products. Well, I don't know how animal products are meant to cure a bacterial overgrowth. The last I heard, like, animal products are not antimicrobial. Oh, thank you, Kari. You lovely person. Keep it up, and a nice little pear sticker doing some curls. Thank you so much, darling. What was I saying? Rawvana. Tim Sheaf, he had gut issues. He had some sort of bacterial infection and some other oxalates issue or something. He got diagnosed by Goji Man, who I got diagnosed with my SIBO with. Now, instead of just ditching the vegan diet, saying that it don't work and throwing veganism under the bus, I actually did the treatment protocol, and I took 3 rounds of different antimicrobials, natural ones. There was allicin, which is from like garlic type, allium vegetables, berberine, which comes from berries, and I got prescribed grapefruit seed extract as well, which comes from grapefruit seeds, believe it or not. And working with Goji Man, I don't know if you know his YouTube channel, but he is a real guru of gut health. It cured me. It cured me in a few weeks. Whereas other people just said, oh, that's not working, or just go and eat meat. Meat is not healing. Oh, it's just stupid. So yeah, mostly very restrictive diets. When I've done reviews of their days of eating, they've come up short on multiple nutrients. Like I say, some idiots not supplementing B12. In the winter months, maybe not supplementing vitamin D. Some people feel better when they eat fish because it's got to have some vitamin D in. If they've not taken care of their omega-3, then it's got DHA, so it would take care of that. So this is if Rawvana did feel better from eating that fish that she was trying to hide on camera when she got caught out. I did a review of her day of eating. You can see it on my channel. She didn't supplement vitamin D in the video. She didn't supplement DHA, and she didn't have any nuts or seeds or anything with appreciable amounts of omega-3. So that's my perspective. Whole foods, plant-based diet, supplemented with B12 if you're not, B12 for one thing, because we're not getting bacteria from drinking water or dirt on our bodies. Supplemented with vitamin D if we're not getting adequate sun, and making sure you're eating enough ground flax or ground chia seeds, or maybe a DHA supplement. Some seaweed, so we've got the iodine. Supplementing those. Eat the range of whole plant foods, legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs, spices, calorically adequate. You'll be getting far more nutrition than anyone else. Say like omnivorous eater, eating meat. Like Harvard showed that vegetables are on average 16 times more nutrient dense than meat. So all you need to do is eat enough calories, use a chronometer app, maybe use a total daily energy expenditure calculator to see how many calories you need. Use a chronometer app, make sure you're eating the range of whole plant foods, make sure you're hitting all the micronutrients, and supplement those 3 or 4 things. And your health's going to be so much better than anyone else's. And you'll be avoiding the sat fat, trans fats, cholesterol, and other compounds. There's a list of things as long as your arm that comes from animal products that is the cause of 70 to 80% of deaths in the Western world. It's huge. For more on all this, check out nutritionfacts.org. It's all the science for free. They make it into succinct, digestible videos for the layman. but they cite all the studies, literally thousands of videos, each with multiple studies, just proving what is the best way to eat. Honestly, your health will be so much better than everyone else's, more nutrient dense and less negatives.
Do you want me to put a link to your email for personalised nutrition plans? So you're just seeing as you were talking so much about nutrition?
If anyone's interested in personalised nutrition or workout plans, do hit me up at this address. I am well good at it, if I do say so myself. I feel like Frank Tofano being all full of myself. Heart Spirit, DHA is an animal hormone that you can't absorb it from that. Vitamin D is a hormone. DHA is a long chain. What am I trying to say? It's an essential fatty acid. It's the animal like long chain AHA. Basically, we elongate AHA into EPA and DHA with the elongase enzyme. So you're wrong in two ways, but good try. Oh, I love it when people are stupid. Fat Vegan brings up a good point. Thumb up the stream, please do. Room 101 loves mushrooms and potatoes. So do I. Miguel, how much nutritional yeast do I have to eat to not take B12? Not all nutritional yeast is fortified with B12. It's not in there naturally. So if it's not fortified, it won't work. If it is fortified, depends on the brand. But you need probably under age 60, about 4 tablespoons per day, I believe. We had a super chat. Vigard Solberg kindly donated 30 NOK. Just give me a fist bump, boom. Not even got a question or out. He's just trying to support his local neighbourhood vegan YouTuber from the kindness of his heart because of his love of animals. Let's have a round of applause in the chat. Thanks, bro. John Doe, what do you think about soy isolate? Is it different than normal soy protein? So you got soy isolate, which is pure soy, which I think obviously you're talking about like a powder there. And then when you're saying normal soy protein, do you mean soy concentrate? So it's a powder, in which case it's just got some more of the other stuff rather than just being isolated. But if you mean relative to the whole bean, it's not going to be as good as the whole bean. Like the minute you extract one item from a whole food, it then becomes like ultra processed. And it will come with a list of negatives, basically. I mean, I do use a couple of scoops of a protein powder per day, simply because I'm larger than your average bear, and like it just makes it easier for me to get enough volume of food and protein in. But if I wasn't bodybuilding, I wouldn't be adding it in. I'd just be eating whole foods. We're not got another super chat on the go. Julia A, you lovely lady, 5 UK pounds, Great British pounds sterling. Keep on keeping on this great vegan information. Love you. I love you too. You're a lovely lady. I love all of you coming here and chatting every week. It makes my week. It makes my every 3 to 4 days when we do another one. Thank you, darling. Eva Marsh is in the house. John Doe, yeah, concentrate. So yeah, I mean there is science to suggest that soy raises the risk for cancers because supposedly it raises IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1 in our bodies, much in the same way that animal proteins do. However, my perspective is, well, whatever you're eating, you break the foods down into the individual amino acids before they absorb through the wall of the small intestine into the bloodstream. So it kind of is irrelevant where they came from if the protein is what is the problem rather than anything extra that's coming with it, in which case whatever protein you're eating is going to do the same thing. So I'm not so sure that we need to worry about soy like more than other products. Certainly, it doesn't raise estrogen like people used to claim. It actually lowers total estrogen load in the body, because these phytoestrogens, these plant estrogens, they're such a weak mimic of mammalian estrogen. They're actually 1/10,000th the strength, meaning that they dock with the same receptors, meaning that, you know, our natural estrogen going around, or if we're stupid enough to eat animal products, like actual mammalian estrogen going around, particularly from dairy products, like 70% of dairy cows are pregnant at any given time. Their estrogen is through the roof. That then can't doctor with the receptor because the phytoestrogens are in the way, and then we'll excrete it, dump it into the colon. Because we've got a lot of fibre, it will be carried out with the fibre, whereas someone eating a low fibre diet, it will be reabsorbed again, and they'll have this perpetual cycle of estrogen. So the people laughing at people eating plant estrogens, eating little whole plant foods, but eating lots of meat, which is going to have hormones in, dairy, which is like really high in hormones, and the lack of the fibre to not reuptake it again. What a bunch of morons. Okay. Well, let's jump like crazy. I'll skip forwards a bit. Luca Francis, can you choose which Perform powder I buy? I can't decide this time. If you're having it for smoothies and you often have berries, I would go with the blueberry and acai. If you're having it as a separate drink on its own, or sometimes I put it into porridge with perhaps maca, definitely some gooey like dates, and I'll go for the salted maca caramel. That's really nice. If you're having it on its own or like with a plant milk, I love the vanilla flavour. So depending on your use, I'd go for one of those. Yeah, they're all good though. They're all good in their own way. I keep thinking I like one particularly, then I have so much of that one that I just then fancy a different one. And I go through all of them on rotation, I swear. Jan, thanks for the answer about cornflakes. Do you find it ironic as a vegan that lives in a country that looks like a chicken or a pig in Turkey? Yeah, maybe. Nathan, I've been trying intermittent fasting, 16 hours fast, 18-hour eating window for about a week now. I feel pretty much the same, but I find that craving less food and eating fewer calories. I think that that's how it works. It's like diet adherence rather than any particular metabolic benefit. So, yeah, what are my thoughts? Yeah, just that. Like, if it's working for you, keep to it. However, there's probably there is, to date, we know of no scientific metabolic benefit. It's just that it helps you to stick to the diet. So, crikey, someone's just donated $100. What?
Jesus.
It's the first time this has happened. I'm speechless. I'm just going to sit here for the rest of the stream. Who is this lovely person? David Wishengrad. I'm sure I've seen that name around a few times. Like I say, Connie donated 100 US dollars. That's amazing. All life on Earth is about to be lost because of the people in the vegan community that have already gotten told the most important truth in life. Life is most important in life. Who then choose not to understand that? But what? Why can't I get my head around that? Life is about to be lost because of people. I don't really get why you'd say that.
Maybe he can comment again and clarify what he means.
Yeah.
Again, some way.
Sounds like you're saying that with the vegans are like out of order. Life on Earth is about to be lost. I mean, you know, I'm no environmental scientist, but I understand that the consensus is that most of the problems are down to animal agriculture, which we're kind of against. So if you are saying that, I don't know why you'd be saying that. Choose not to understand and publicly endorse it. Life is most important. Is that like a word I've never heard of? Is this why I'm confused? I'm going to look that up.
Someone says, the guy's a troll, he said the same thing during a Vegan Gains live stream post-beverage debate.
Yeah. You know, as vegans, we're trying to cause the least harm possible, the least suffering to all. So that don't make sense. Room 101. I thought I recognised that name at all as well. Ishingrad. I don't know.
He hasn't said anything else yet. Not sure. I'll let you know if he does.
Oh.
Well, that was a nice super chat.
Yeah.
But a confusing comment.
Yeah. Hey Steve, $100 is the truck amount. Shake it, Hench. Okay, you asked for it. That's the best I can do at short notice.
Cowboy.
You're welcome, Nathan.
Hi, lovely. You okay?
Jorge, my brain bent.
Cowboy's trying to meow, but no noise is coming out.
Yeah, Cowboy's got a cold at the minute. Cowboy. Did you see him?
No noise.
No noise is coming.
Oh.
You okay, mate? You got a little cold? Oh. He's cute, isn't he?
No sound.
We'll spend some of that $100 on cat medicine. Rev 1. What were people eating during cold winters since the dawn of men for thousands and thousands of
I
years?
think they're talking to someone else. I think there's been a bit of a back and forth about...
How can you justify... Yeah, but this is a general comment. How can you justify eating plants as necessary for health if those foods didn't exist? Well, it's quite simple. We evolved our current physiology in the tropics, where there is no winter. We since moved into like other regions, temperate regions, where there is winter. Then there was no food. So we became corrupted and had to eat animals. However, our physiology is unchanged. So therefore, the people who eat the most animal products die the soonest from heart disease, cancer, diabetes. 14 of the 15 leading causes of death are preventable, treatable. 5 of them are reversible, including heart disease, our number one killer, with a whole foods plant-based diet. Of course, if you're in a region where it's all covered in snow, you're not eating whole plant food, so your health's going to be crap. But it didn't matter back then because ancient man was killed by the hostile conditions, infections, stuff like that, long before the atherosclerosis killed him. You know, that takes decades to present. Like, they were only living to like 30, 40 years, so it was irrelevant. So that comment just doesn't make sense. Like, why is it necessarily a thing? Like, it's just daft.
Here's another super chat.
Oh yeah, $5 Canadian. My lovely friend, I wish I knew how to pronounce this. Please, can you tell me? Cianas. Kindly donated $5 Canadian. Tip for the booty shake. Keep being awesome. Ah, thank you, my friend. You're lovely. Shake that money maker. Yeah, well said, twisted hippie. Yeah. James Parker brings up a good point. Gregory explains it well. Humans and pre-humans ate plant-based for tens of millions of years. I think our last great ape ancestor, so the third, like the earliest human, was something like 20 million years ago. So this is called the Miocene era, 20 million years up to about 2 million years ago, Miocene era. We ate plants. And then the last 2 million, we developed fire and weapons like tools. So for, what is that, 90% of human, he says 99% of human history, I'm sure he does, that we just ate plants. So, apparently evolution takes a long old time.
Apparently you pronounce it Cunis gonoignus.
Where is it?
Down the bottom, yeah. Very recent.
Why can't I see it?
All questions from the most recent.
Oh, yeah. Cunis gonoignus. Cunis gonoignus. I wish I could take a photo of that, but can you take a snapshot of it or something? I want to learn it. Cunis gonoignus. Cunis gonoignus.
I have that.
Cunis gonoignus. That does help. Was that right? Cunis gonoignus. Suicidal sock. Been vegan since December 26th. Was plant-based for 3 months before that with meat cheat days. Good for you, my friend. Well done. Rev, can you tell us what kinds of fruit early humans were eating? I'm generally curious about how we gathered so much calories from green leaves. We were eating fruit. 20 million years ago, we were all up trees. And then at that point, a lot of monkeys fell out of the trees, and that was the earliest humans. Australopithecus, is it? Something like that. For 90 to 99% of human history, like the earliest humans, we were eating like a lot of fruits and some vegetables. And now, by modern analysis of Paleolithic man's dentition, even Paleolithic man was eating up to 150 grams of fibre per day. That's not easy. That is a lot of plants. We know that from studying coprolites with modern analysis. Basically, they're fossilized poo. They were eating up to 150 grams of fibre per day. You're not eating a lot of meat if you're eating that much fibre. Yeah.
Super chat.
Yeah, super chat. Super chat. Basically, you're making an appeal to ancestry fallacies. People could look back to now and years to come, and they could think, oh, that they had to eat like McDonald's. McDonald's is healthy because they ate McDonald's. Super chat. Who done that? Chef's father, $4.99, kindly on the super chat. I'm very afraid that I have heart disease because my heart always races and I get dizzy with chest pains. What is your dietary advice for one with heart disease? For your heart racing, like that's like probably just palpitations. That's probably not a sign of heart disease. I wouldn't worry about that. The chest pain. Oh, you get dizzy with chest pain could be angina, so it could be a sign. And probably, if this is within about 5 hours of eating a fatty meal, that's probably what it is. And that's a sign that the heart is not getting enough oxygenated blood because the blood has become lactescent, like milky. It's called lipemia, like fat in the blood. So it's devoid of, it's not so oxygen rich. All you need to do is really, really simple. You don't need to suffer with this at all. Change your diet to whole plant foods. Eat well of whole grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits. Have a little bit of nuts and seeds, but don't have much. You want to keep your fats low, like maybe like 10 or 11% max. So you want to eat like 1 to 3 tablespoons of ground flax or chia seeds. The rest you can make up from other nuts and seeds or avocado. Type everything into the Chronometer app and you'll see like how much percentage of your diet is that. Keep that low. Keep that low. The rest of it, like I say, these whole plant, high carb, lower fat, whole plant foods. Cordell Esselstyn is proven in peer-reviewed medical journals. He has photographic angiogram proof, like photographic proof of arteries opening up again. Look him up, Cordell Esselstyn. Do you want to? You probably don't know how to spell that, do you?
No, I don't know.
Let me write that in the chat. Caldwell Esselstyn, doctor. SE to his friends. So he and Dean Ornish are clinically proven to reverse heart disease just with nutrition alone. You know, without like stents and what Lipitor? What class of drug is that? Oh, I've forgotten now. Without drugs, anyway. I should know that. Forgot the name. Anyway, without drugs, without surgery, reverse it. It's easy. So please don't worry about that. Cut your salt out. Get your salt down. Really, you should get enough sodium from your whole plant foods. So that would add to your problem. So don't add salt to your food. Don't eat processed foods. Stick to the whole plant foods. Stick to low fat, no oil. But statins. Thank you, Cowboy Bebop. Statin drugs. Lipitor is worth something like, I'll probably forget now. Something ridiculous, like $300 billion or something. It's the most sold drug in the world. This is why we're not getting the message to eat whole plant foods, because corporate interests, massive amounts of money to lose and massive marketing budgets are against us, you know.
See a doctor, I'd say as well, if you're worried about that.
Yeah, see a doctor if you want, but preferably a plant-based one, because like the mainstream doctors don't really have a clue.
Well, to find out,
and they'll probably worry you.
In the first place.
Yeah, why don't you get some tests done? Run some tests. You want to try to get your LDL. The LDL cholesterol is a thing to worry about. So you've got total cholesterol, which is LDL and HDL. LDL we call the bad cholesterol. The plant-based doctors who I follow, they say 57 milligrams per deciliter or lower. You're heart attack proof. But 70 or below tends to stop atherosclerosis progression. They're in the US. In the UK, the National Health Service, they say that LDL of 3 is normal. LDL cholesterol 3 is normal. I did the conversion because we do millimoles per litre, whereas the Americans do milligrams per deciliter. And they're saying exactly half to be heart attack proof. So what they're saying is heart attack proof. Our doctors are saying, oh, you can have double that and that's normal. I find that quite sinister. It is pretty much exactly like double. And the position of the plant-based doctors who are reversing heart disease with nutrition is who wants to be normal in a society where normally most people die of heart disease. Like, who wants to be normal? We want to be like optimal. So it's just getting that low enough, and it's really stick to the whole plant foods, and you have a small amount of nuts and seeds. Avoid all oils, particularly coconut oil, palm oil, and cocoa butter, because these have the long chain triglycerides and very long chain, which are definitely associated with heart disease. But it's in your hands, and honestly, you start from now. You don't need to worry. You really, really don't. Keep in touch and let me know how you get on, because I'd be interested to hear how you progress. Oh, well, I was then going to go, but with Chef's father kindly donated another $4.99 on the Super Chats. I got tests, everything comes back perfectly fine. They say it's my anxiety. Right here, they all miss things. I'm vegan too, will go whole plant. Oh, was that Chef's father who I was then talking to about heart disease? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just with the heart racing and stuff, like that does make me sort of think anxiety. And if it just is just anxiety, even going whole plant foods is going to help with that. Because, I don't know if you've heard the chemical theory of depression, and depression and anxiety go hand in hand, like they're inexplicably linked. Was that the word? Inexplicably. Don't even know if that's the word. But basically you want your serotonin and dopamine, your loads of free serotonin and dopamine, and then your monoamine oxidase, which is an enzyme that gobbles them up, Gives you less free like monoamines to work with, which can lead to depression, anxiety. But by eating a lot of whole plant food, you actually lower your monoamine oxidase, giving you more free serotonin, dopamine, so you're going to feel a lot better. When we eat animal products, there's toxic breakdown products from the animal protein residues putrefying in the colon. They create cresol, putrescine and cadaverine, which are all linked with depression and anxiety. Cresol, also dementia. There's like 15 or so different reasons that I could, if I had time, eventually remember and reel off to you why whole plant foods, you know, boost our feel-good hormones and give us less depression, less anxiety, and where animal products and then sugar and, you know, junk foods cause depression and anxiety. So on either way, if it's heart disease, if it's anxiety, if you've got a little bit of both going on, it will attenuate both problems. What else was I then going to say? Most people have got heart disease. Most people have. A fetus or an unborn baby in the womb of its mother may have the starts of heart disease, may have fatty lesions in the aorta, predicated on the mother's serum LDL. So basically, the more oils and animal products that the mum eats, the more likely the child has got the starts of heart disease. By age 10, pretty much every child eating omnivorously will have atherosclerosis forming in their arteries. Nearly every child of 10 or older. Like, how scary is that? So really, sounds harsh, but to give a child animal products, coconut oil, palm oil, cocoa solids, which is in chocolate. I mean, everyone gives their kids chocolate. Really, it's child abuse. You are setting the ground. I mean, these diseases take decades to present, but it adds up over time. And so it's just a ticking time bomb. So we've probably nearly all of us got atherosclerosis. If you've been eating whole foods vegan for like above 4 years or more, from what I've seen of the science, I believe that you've possibly reversed pretty much all the atherosclerosis. I don't know if that's always possible, but for a lot of people, you can reverse it on this diet. But you need like 57 milligrams per deciliter or lower to really guarantee that you're not gonna get it. I saw, because I'm making a video on oil, I'm going to post it tomorrow, so you might want to keep an eye out. But this one Whole Foods vegan, he did a video, and he ate junk food vegan for a year, and his LDL was 90. And then he went Whole Foods plant-based for 2.5 years. His LDL was 35. He said it's the lowest his doctor had ever seen. So if you want to future-proof yourself, if you want to avoid the top killer of vegans and people in general, Whole Foods plant-based, and it'll boost your mental health as well. So anyway, I've gone a bit over time. I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you for the super chats, helping support my work, which means I don't have to get a proper job and not be promoting veganism to everyone. And you know, that's my life purpose. So you never know how good that makes me feel, and I'm so grateful. Thanks to the moderators for wielding your wrenches so expertly, and thanks for everyone who joined in, just commenting and chatting. Even the trolls. We're all just doing our best from our current level of understanding. And I used to think we had to eat animal products as well. So if you're eating animal products, I don't hate you. I don't like what you're doing. And I believe if you had my knowledge, you probably wouldn't like it either, because none of us want to hurt an animal unnecessarily. So I love you all is what I'm trying to say. Thanks for joining. See you Friday for another super chat, I was going to say, for another live stream, 6 p.m. GMT. Tomorrow I'm going to have a video out for you, probably 6 p.m. GMT, all about why we shouldn't be eating oils. So look out for that. It's good night from me.
Oh, and good night from me.
And it's good night from the hand of the voice from beyond. One love.